Well, hello and welcome, everybody. It's great to be here at the India Global Forum here in Dubai and earlier in Abu Dhabi as well. It's an extremely distinguished set of people that we've got, and it's a great privilege for me to be moderating this session, to be here among some wonderful people. And I think the reason why this particular session can actually trigger great discussion is because it has a great deal to do with the India story, which focuses on what we were and where we are now. It is something which comes out of the fact that India in the past were considered elephants. There were stereotypes, certainly about our economy, our economic prowess, our ability to grow, our ability to satisfy the needs of 1 billion plus people. But I think world over now, there is increasingly a recognition of India as a center for excellence in tech, in IT, the unicorn space, the 5G revolution in India, which in the context of the number of people who are going to be impacted with this or by this, and how their lives will profoundly change. These are all aspects which are going to define India in the decades going forward. There is no two ways about it. But yes, throughout this entire process, there will be hiccups, there will be challenges, some internal, some external. We are, for example, facing the impact of the Ukraine war. It affects us in so many ways, the broader economic story. We've spoken about the tech sector. There is a concern about layoffs right now. There is a concern about making the tech transformation to 5G and ultimately 6G. There are problems over there as well that need to be overcome, technological hurdles, if not anything else. But India has so much promise. The fact that we are masters at frugal engineering, that's something we're going to be talking about also partly in this particular session. The fact that Indian engineering, certainly in tech, is coming of age, that we aren't just buying or co-manufacturing technology in the tech space, but have our own ideas and our own engineering prowess to actually make that something. That is another part of the India story we'll be looking at as well. And semiconductors. In fact, I was talking to the Electronics and IT Minister Rajiv Chandrasekhar yesterday, a fantastic interview in which he spoke about the potential and the promise of semiconductors when manufactured en masse in India. Why does India need to necessarily rely as heavily as we do from a country like Taiwan? Wonderful country, very strong relationships, but we have an incredible pent-up demand, and that needs to be met by what we in India actually require. So it's with those broad words, and the topic is going global, fulfilling the aspirations of 8 billion, that I'd like to welcome all of you to this session. And I would like to first bring on stage our scene setter, Sachin Duggal, the chief wizard and co-founder of Builder.ai. Thanks, Sachin, very much for being with us. So, Sachin, if you remember what all I discussed and you just sort of repeat that, I think you've got your speech sort of sorted out. Come, please. Wonderful to have you, Sachin.
So thank you, everyone. It's always a tough act to follow lunch, so I will try and keep this entertaining. I want to start off by saying that I think this overemphasis on unicorns is actually a problem. And to me, it's really not about building unicorns. It's about building businesses that fundamentally delivered to a global customer. And what's really unique about the India story and the India context in this is the ability to survive where you have to build to unprecedented scale. You have to build to an unprecedented price point. And you have to build with an unprecedented amount of jugaad. And that really sets entrepreneurs that are building from India for the world up, for the 8 billion people. And I've seen this in our own journey, right? We started in India. We then went all the way west to San Francisco. We then built out the UK and the Middle East and then Singapore. And the one thing that has really sort of anchored us in our growth journey We've had the privilege of growing at almost 300% year on year in revenue for the last few years, has really been this design around delivering for India. I'm a big believer that if you can fundamentally deliver to the India price point, to the India scale, that you are able to make quick corrections as needed, a more technical term for Jugaad, you can build for any country. And why is that? Fundamentally, India is not one country. We have to recognize that. It is many countries, many languages, many dialects, many cultures, many people from many different walks of the world. And so when you need to deliver local product, because every customer is local, no customer is global, and you need to be able to deliver it in a way they want to buy it, which is your number one objective as a business, India really sets you up for that global stage. You know, when you are delivering to a customer in Delhi, it is very different to dealing with a customer in the backwaters of Kerala. When you are dealing with a customer in Los Angeles, a bakery, it is very different to dealing with a bakery in Al Sharjah. And so I think this is key. And I go back to my opening statement, which is, we're not here to build unicorns. We're here to build businesses that make money, businesses that can acquire customers, and ultimately businesses that can deal with customers around the world. Seva is a huge part of the India way of life. It's fundamentally built into everything from how we pray, to how we live, to our culture. It was the format of Air India in how it serviced its customers. Fundamentally, you can't deal with all customers the same way, because everyone's unique, everyone is special. And then you think about the problems that we're solving. In India, we're solving problems of people wanting to become digitally native. We're solving problems of mass transportation, infrastructure. We're solving problems around climate. You just look around sort of what's being done around pollution in Delhi and how it's being reduced. We're solving problems around affordable healthcare. Gosh, these problems don't seem like India-only problems. They seem like problems that are global problems that exist in every country around the world. But we have the benefit of having them in one country. We have the benefit of 20% of the world's population. And so when we are solving a problem, the likelihood is statistically we're solving it for most of the world's population. Because again, we're not in the business of building unicorns. We're in the business of building businesses that serve customers, that enrich their lives and make them better. And the world's problems that exist globally exist in India in a not so disproportionate scale. And this is really fundamental. And I'd say the other part of this is bringing together multiple cultures, which is such a key part of any team in India, and which is why we're so good at building global organizations, because we understand that everyone's different. And I'd end by saying, a part of the conversation was around Silicon Valley. I have to ask the question, why are we trying to build Silicon Valley? Why can't we build something fundamentally different? If we go back to assume that the fundamental nature of software is changing, the very nature of the solution has to change. Software used to be machinery. That's what we think about it, right? In the balance sheet, it says it's intangible, just like machines do. But software could exist now just for this conversation that I'm having with all of you. Software could be around for 30 seconds, an application for 30 seconds, a minute, an hour. It's instantaneous, it's contextual, it's fluid, it's changing, things that we learn. And so the thing that I'd love for you to walk away with is, we're not trying to build Silicon Valley. We're trying to reimagine what our own future would be like. Thank you so much.